Okay, so today's question is, when is this whole madness going to end? Okay, so these are the cards that I took out. Okay, so once again, this is just storytelling. So this is the main card that I took out. So here you see she is restless. She just wants to leave her throne and do something else. Not to say leave her throne, but she wants to do something else. She's been sitting on this throne for quite a while and she is getting restless. So once again, the question is, when is this whole madness going to end? So here we see the Queen of Wands. Okay, so she wants to move about, but she can't. Okay, she can't. There is some unfinished business. Okay, so let's see what is some of this unfinished business, okay, that is keeping her to the throne. Okay, so this is what she observes in the world right now. Okay, so she needs to be on the throne here in order for things to change. Okay, so she needs to make sure that things are run according to order, and the moment that these phases are complete, then she can get up from her throne and move on to the next phase. But in the meantime, she has to be on her throne, but she is getting restless. Okay, so this is what she observes in the society. So what she sees is that now she look at her face. Okay, so she's just observing the society. So in the society, what's happening is that you have a situation where the ultra rich is giving to the poor, but they are giving very little. Okay, they're giving very little, even though there is a lot of riches there. Okay, so that's what's happening. The distribution of wealth is not equal. Okay, so here it seems like there is one person who is holding all the riches, and then there are two people who, are like down and out. Okay, so this is a situation that she is observing. That's what's happening in society. Next, it was this card, which is the Two of Swords. Okay, so I'm going to put it here. So this is what she's also observing. So she is observing, and the moment I pulled out this card, is like her face suddenly, she becomes hopeful. Okay, so this is what she sees. She sees that Two of Swords. Here, what she sees is that a lot more people are going deep within themselves to assess any situation. They have blindfolded themselves because they want to depend on themselves to assess the situation. They want to feel the situation, which is why they're holding the two swords. That means they are relying on themselves to assess any situation or any experience that they have. Okay, so because of that, you have the moon, you have the darkness. They are not depending on the outside, on the outside situation, which is the moon here. So the moon here, it could also mean darkness. So they are not depending on that. They are just depending on themselves. Okay, so because of that, she finds this hopeful. Okay, people are beginning to kind of like regain back their power. Okay, their power to discriminate between what is right and what is wrong, instead of depending on other people's opinions. Okay, so because of that, she looks hopeful. Then after that, what else is she observing? Temperance. Okay, so now remember, the question is, when is this madness going to be over? So then here she is looking at temperance. So here is like she is just patiently waiting. She's just patiently waiting. Okay, so let's see what we have here. As you can see, this is this person who is making the mixture. Okay, so it seems that this whole situation or event, it's got to run its course. Okay, and it is represented by the mixture going from one cup to the other. He is making the mixture, and the thing is, the situation has to run its course. You look at his face, he couldn't care less about what she thinks. This is what he has to do. This is what he has to do, and which is why she is just observing. She is keenly observing to see how the mixture is going, because the mixture, whether it's completed or whether it's the beginning or whether it's properly mixed or not, this one will give her an indication of when the whole situation will end. Okay, so yeah, so once again, this is from what she observes. Okay, so one, which is what is happening in the society. Okay, and the other one is what is happening within each, within ourselves. And she is seeing kind of like an awakening. Okay, people are beginning to discern. They are beginning to discriminate using their own, their own. Their own inner sense without having to depend on others. Okay, and then she is also observing that, you know, there is this kind of like a universal force which is, you know, doing the mixture, and the mixture, it has to be done. Okay, it has to be done. He is in the middle of making the mixture. Okay, so she is keenly observing. Okay, so once again, when is this whole madness going to end? Because she has no choice. She's the Queen of Wands, so she has to observe these situations first, okay, to make sure that they are in order. Okay, this is where she observes the society, and she is happy to see this happening, but at the same time, she has to respect the universal laws. Okay, but she is getting restless. So then I asked, can we have some indications of when this will end? Okay, when this whole madness will end? Well, I don't ask for time, but I ask for the things that we can observe. Okay, so these are the cards that came out. Okay, so okay, let's just get started. Okay, so first of all is the Six of Wands. So this is one of the indication. Now remember, she wants to get off her throne. She wants to move about, so she's getting quite restless. Okay, so here one indication is that you have these people. There is a victory here. Okay, there is not many people around, but nevertheless is still a victory, is by the people. Okay, so the way he's dressed here, he is dressed in no the way he's dressed here is no different from the way they are dressed, the people here are dressed. Okay, so it shows that there will be victory by the normal man on the street. To me, this could also be like legal cases, so all these small victories, it will add up. And so this is one of the indication of when the situation is, the madness is nearly nearly over. Okay, so it is the victory which is won by the man on the street. Okay, so but the thing is, he wins it. It's a small victory, but everybody is, to them it is a victory nevertheless. Okay, and then after that, other indications that the whole madness is going to end already. This is where here you have families, okay, or people where they are taking different stance. Okay, so the stance that they are looking for is towards peace. Okay, so this is an indication where it's kind of like what we want is peace, and not so much as the excitable information that's coming out. Okay, so we want to move away from news that excites us. Okay, we want to move towards a situation where our mind is at peace. So whether there is news regarding whether the needling is good or bad, or whether there is climate change, all those are excitable information, which I think people are just not drawn to it. They want something which is calm. Okay, so this is another indication when people are not drawn to excitable news anymore, but whether it's good or bad, but rather they just want peace. Okay, they just want peace, and this is where people will start thinking differently. Okay, so they will start thinking more towards what they want instead of what is offered in the news. Okay, and the moment you have this, then you start visualizing the kind of world that you want, and the more people do this, then it's like the world will then change. Okay, so this is where the thinking of the people, okay, so where it is less drawn to excitable news, whether it's good news or bad news, but where they just are drawn, not to say that they are fed up, but somehow innately they will be drawn to news, to not to say to news, but rather to look inwardly so that they can start visualizing the kind of life that they want. Okay, and humanity being humanity, everybody wants peace. And finally, the third indication here is the King of Wands. Okay, so right now we have the Queen of Wands, so she's kind of like restless. She has to, because she's the Queen of Wands, she has to make sure that, these things take place, or she's observing these things and the universal laws. She has to make sure that the universal laws are respected and that they are carried out. Okay, so she is restless. So an indication that this whole madness is going to end is when there will be the King of Wands. So here, the King of Wands, it represents that people will be governed in such a way that, to me, it shows that he takes a hands-off approach. Okay, he takes a hands-off approach, but he is there. Okay, so that if we have any problems, then we go to him. Other than that, he allows us to do what we are supposed to do within our communities and so on. But he will be there in case if there is any problems or any issues where the people need to come to him for advice. So as you can see here, he doesn't look restless, but rather the way he is seated is that he is looking over his kingdom, so-called his kingdom, and he is making sure that there are no problems, or if there is any issues, then he is just there to help. So once again, when is this madness going to end? I don't tell time, but there are indications. One is small victory for mankind. The other one is people naturally are drawn to more peace. Okay, they will feel it intuitively that they want to move away from news which excites them, or whether it's good news or bad news. Somehow people will just want to move towards peace, calmness of mind. Okay, and they are no longer affected by excitable news. That's one indication. And the other indication is when you have some people who are, or some communities which are being governed by a just king, in the sense that you have some people in authority where they are not interested in running your lives, but they are there to help you in case you have any issues. Okay, so yeah, so that's today's reading. So when is this madness going to end? So once again, remember, this is just storytelling. Thank you.